folks. Welcome back to Pop Up Fizzle. I'm Jeff.
I'm Heidi.
And we're back with the finale of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I can't believe how fast we got here.
Yeah, I mean, granted, it's only 6 episodes, so it's gone by really fast. I mean, we're talking about a month and a half of content, but each episode of this show has felt... Some episodes were shorter feeling than others. Like, they're all roughly the same length.
Yeah, they
give
are.
or take like 5 minutes or so. But some episodes were like, boom, they're done. And then some episodes were like, oh, I thought this was a really longer episode than the last one, but it was only like 5 minutes longer or something. So very, very interesting show this. I've really enjoyed the ride.
Same.
I'm not sure I would say at this point, no, we haven't seen the finale yet. I'm not sure at this point I would say I liked it better than WandaVision, but it's a very different kind of show.
Right.
It's kind of apples and oranges.
I was going to say, there's really not a comparison that one can make. The only thing that I would ever expect from Marvel is that they would tell a good story and have a fun ride. And this has delivered. So
yeah, I feel like it has too. And it's made people talk. I mean, there's been lots of conversations happening around the show, plot points, what worked, what didn't work. We know that some things were cut out because of COVID, because of changes that had to happen in production, and because they apparently at one point had a storyline about a manufactured disease or ailment or virus or something that would have too closely perhaps mirrored the real world.
Yeah.
And
not looking for that.
Sometimes big companies like Disney don't want to be too on the nose with things. So I understand a bit of caution there. But you can tell that there were some production issues where they had to kind of tweak some things and move some things around. So some people argue that the Flag Smashers aren't that great as far as villains go. And I can see the argument, but I also understand that they probably had to change a lot, and maybe they were more formidable in the original draft of the way things are supposed to go.
Yeah, maybe they were a stronger character as a villain at that time, but because they had to rework and rephrase, they couldn't actually make them as strong as they would have been.
I confess to still being a little bit confused about the people that seem to applaud or look up to the character of Carly. She's a villain. She's supposed to be a villain. We're supposed to know that she's a villain. Like, I don't see anything worth applauding, but whatever. That's Twitter. Twitter's a weird world sometimes.
I saw a thing today about Twitter, and I thought it was like so real. Twitter argument, you can say men are taller than women, and, responder 1, that's misogynistic. Responder 2, how hateful of you. And responder 3, that's not true. I have a female friend who's 6'3", and I'm just like, that's exactly Twitter. Mm-hmm. That's exactly Twitter. So I generally don't spend much time on Twitter. I might scroll through. I think my favorite thing to do is look at Shakespeare Sunday, Saturday nights, because that usually starts at English time, but UK time. And that's really the only thing I look at Twitter for the most part. So I'm not really there.
I scroll Twitter a lot, but I don't involve myself in too much. Like, I'll post, if we've got a video coming up, I'll throw something out there. We had gone a few weeks without a Farscape reaction. So when I put that up, I tweeted that out that it was up. But I try not to get involved. I mean, I involve myself with some other YouTubers sometimes. But yeah, I don't know. Twitter just seems like a weird place to...
It is a strange
to stomp your chest or have an argument, because it's just...
Oh, I also
it's just a bunch of people you don't know.
Yeah, I also like Med Twitter. Med Twitter is fun because a lot of real conversations about the medical community and fun conversations regarding the medical community take place there, and that's just an extension of my work.
Yeah. See, for me, it's different because I follow mainly other YouTubers, and I follow a lot of authors and book Twitter, book YouTube accounts, booktube, I guess I should say, accounts. And so what the problem with following a bunch of YouTubers is that whenever a show like The Falcon and the Winter Soldier drops, I have to dodge spoilers like hard, or else I'm going to end up being spoiled. I am spoiled for a couple of things on this finale. I could not avoid them completely. But some of that had to do with you working the night that it dropped, and we had to wait. So this is the day after it dropped. You're going to have seen everybody else's reaction before this one. That's okay. We're glad you're here.
Thank you.
We appreciate you watching with us for these 6 episodes. We definitely enjoy reacting to the Marvel content. We plan to continue with Loki when it drops.
It's gonna be dropping right in it's gonna be dropping right in the middle of our move. So we're gonna do our best to get everything together. It might wind up being a little later.
But if you've been watching our channel for a while, you know that we don't really do this. We appreciate you watching, but we don't really do it for likes, views, that kind of thing. We're doing it because we enjoy watching these things anyway. We're not watching something that viewers pressured us into watching. We're watching what we want to watch anyway. So if we're late, it's not that big a deal to us because we're not trying to cash in on all the views like right away. We're just hoping that those of you that are on the ride with us will be looking forward to us reacting. So it takes a little bit of pressure.
This is just for fun.
In the long run.
Yeah, this is just for fun.
So Loki's going to happen in the middle of our move, and it may be that we, are a little bit slow on getting some episodes up, but we will get them up because we're excited about Loki and looking forward to watching that.
Yeah.
Anyway, enough talk from us. Let's jump into this finale and see what happens to Sam Wilson, although I have certain expectations. Bucky Barnes. I doubt we're going to see Zemo again. Don't you think that was kind of our goodbye to him?
I think that was our farewell for now.
Yeah. I really hope that he's back in the MCU, though, especially now that they've rounded out his character a lot. I suspect that we'll probably see more of Sharon Carter and get some sort of resolution to whether or not she can come back to the United States. Or at least whether or not she's involved with or is the power broker. So there's a lot there that I think needs to be answered, and I'm sure we'll get some kind of resolution to the Flag Smashers and what they're up to.
Yeah.
How that's all going to work out, I have no idea, but I'm excited to see.
Yeah.
So here we go, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. This episode is called One World, One People, and it is the finale. So we're glad that you're on board. If you want to see the unedited version of this, of course, you can do that on Patreon. That link is always in the description.
The movement is ready. They're not going to stop, not unless we make them.
One of those people is Natasha Romanoff in disguise.
Yeah, maybe.
She's dead, honey.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's me. Relax. No one
Oh, that's close.
Yeah. Okay.
Joker gas? Oh.
Nice.
Good throw, good catch.
I'm sorry, wait. Who are you?
Captain America.
I thought Captain America was on the moon.
is moving.
I was on the moon.
It's a misdirect. We gotta keep everybody inside.
Yep. Look at that.
You guys are gonna have to do something. Don't let him out of the building.
Hey, where's John Walker and all this?
It's Carly. Aren't you tired of fighting for the wrong side, Mr. Barnes?
You don't think I ever fought for something bigger than myself?
Something's fishy about all this.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Well, thank you.
I'm glad you took my call. You've been a big help.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Oh, ooh.
You better speed things up, Sam. Chopper's about to take off.
Bucky, I don't fly, man. That's your thing.
He was a hero before the shield.
This is true. And I'll bet he can do the footstep. Yeah, there we go.
This is shot really well.
Yes.
Worst case scenario, we kill the hostages.
Uh-oh.
Ooh. Oh.
Oh.
Wow. Woo. Nice.
Light it up.
Morgan Thaw!
Ah, here we go.
Let's finish this.
I didn't mean to kill your friend. I don't want to hurt people that don't matter.
Thanks. My friend mattered.
You don't think Lamar's life mattered? Thank you for saving us.
Oh.
Nice. Oof. Oi.
Oh, jeez. Superhero landing.
Indeed. Look out.
Put in your earbuds. Ooh.
Nice work, Isla.
he's stronger than you.
I mean, he should be a more trained fighter than she is. Super soldier or not.
Yeah.
Now she's got more hostages. Ooh.
Steel girder to the face.
I can wreck your day.
Oh, jeez.
What you gonna do, John? Be a hero.
Be a hero. That's what Lamar would want you to do.
There you go.
Yeah.
Where's Spider-Man when you need him?
Right?
There you go. Jets help.
Yeah, they do.
That's Captain America.
There you go.
You of all people bought into that bullshit.
Looks like they split up. Here.
I got it.
I like that they just seem to have accepted that he's there. It's not any go home, John. It's just
You need an extra pair of hands.
I have a feeling instead of running into Sam, that Baytrock's going to run into Sharon instead.
Well,
Drop your weapon, Carly.
Oh,
Come back and work for me again. All of you. We can make a difference together.
Without our super soldiers, how much power does a power broker really have?
More than you.
So you're the power broker 4 times, or je vais dire au monde entier qui tu es vraiment.
I don't do blackmail.
oh, that's what it looks like.
Stay back.
Please, let me help you.
Don't try and manipulate me.
I'm not gonna fight you!
Stay down! The app says it's this way. Let's go.
Mercy bears richer fruit than strict justice.
It's a great app.
I'm sorry.
Sam, thank you so much. From all of us.
Sincerely, you did your part in dealing with those terrorists. Now we'll do ours. These labels, terrorist, refugee, thug, they're often used to get around the question why. You just don't understand. I'm a black man carrying the stars and stripes. What don't I understand? I know there are millions of people out there who are going to hate me for it.
I feel it. And there's nothing I can do to change it.
no, Isaiah.
The only power I have is that I believe we can do better. I mean, this girl died trying to stop you. Why do you think that is? Look, you people have just as much power as an insane god or a misguided teenager. The question you have to ask yourself is, how are you going to use it?
You're going to be Captain America. You got to learn to make those speeches, man.
Nice job, Cap. Thanks.
One world, one people.
Oh.
Zemos, man.
Ah.
4 members of the radical group, the Flag Smashers,
That we are going to see Zemo.
car bomb attack as they were being transferred to a high-security prison.
Looks like our friend Zemo kind of got the last laugh.
New costume?
Now this is more like it.
Gonna need a U.S.
We're gonna
agent.
need a U.S. agent.
That's great.
Keep your phone on.
Oh.
Yeah. It would be interesting if the old guy always knew.
I have to tell you something. What you want, Black Falcon?
You need to learn some manners.
He ain't a Falcon anymore. But he's still black. You're special.
Thank you.
I mean, you ain't no Malcolm or Martin, Mandela, but...
No argument there. We built this country. I'm not gonna let anybody tell me I can't fight for it. Hey, why don't you clean up? There's something I want to show you. Now they'll never forget what you did for this country.
Oh.
Friendship. There you go.
And we'd like to offer you a full pardon. Is that something you'd be interested in?
It would be my honor.
Yay. I mean, yay?
Start lining up our buyers. Should be something for everyone.
All right, that is it for The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Excuse me, Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Heidi, your thoughts?
I thought this was a really great ending to this limited series. We wrapped up quite a bit. Everyone kind of had a little bit of a bow tied around them, so it was definitely well written to get everything to that point. So I'm glad for that. This was really good.
See, Sam had so much new gear on that I missed the bow. Was
Yeah.
it like on his? Was it like back in the back of his head?
Yes.
Like just a little
Yes.
bow, or was it? Like...
Yeah, there's like just a tiny little bow at the back of his little goggle set there. It was there.
And Bucky had like mouse ears with the bow. Like
Yes.
From Disney World. Yeah.
Yes. If we had
That would have been a
enough,
fantastic ending to this.
I was going to say, if we had enough time and Photoshop skills, we could probably bing, but that's okay. No, I thought this was really good. I really enjoyed it. I thought that they kind of wrapped things up really well for all the characters that we had followed for this.
Yeah. We said before we got into the reaction that there were several story beats that they would have to address. We kind of forgot about John Walker when we were talking about that.
Oops.
So I was glad that they addressed that as well. And then, you know, even I had also kind of not forgotten about, but didn't know that they would address any more of Isaiah Bradley's arc in this. So really cool that they gave us not only his reaction to seeing Sam on television and hearing his speech, but also some interaction with him afterwards. And then Sam going out of his way to make sure that he is represented in history. Now, my problem with that is that what Isaiah told him was I don't want people to know about me. I don't want, do you think? And I get what Sam was trying to do, but it still feels a little bit like he outed him without his permission.
I feel like he probably, I took his meaning to say that he didn't want people to know that he was currently alive, like know who he was right now.
Gotcha.
Like, I think the people in his neighborhood would probably not be like, yeah, he lives here. I think he just didn't want people to know that he's still around now. According to all records, he died. So if we were to go ahead and read through his little plaque, it would probably say that, he
maybe, I didn't think about that.
According to records, he died in prison. Unfortunately,
I just assumed it was like, hey, this guy used to be Captain America. Check him out. I thought that was kind of the thing.
My problem was how long did it take to commission that bronze statue?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. How did they get that so fast?
But we don't know. We don't know how fast was.
Right.
Fast.
We don't know how far. Yeah. We don't know how much time has passed. But that I was like, how long did that take? So that was my problem. I'm sorry. Yeah.
But you're also in a world with people with superpowers. So one person with power over metal or extreme firepower to melt down a bunch of metal or whatever.
Have we met those people yet?
Well, no.
Do we know that they take submissions?
I don't know. I'm just saying stuff could happen behind the scenes that we're just not aware of.
Yeah, no, and it could have been a couple of weeks or more.
I did think it was interesting though that when we got the little final bit with John Walker that he did not have a shield. He had the new costume.
Yes.
The new costume. But not a shield. So that was interesting. I I like that he helped at the end, and I like that there was not even a hint of that shield doesn't belong to you. Like, I feel like he realized
who it belonged
where
to.
he had gone off the rails, who it belonged to, and there was no need to thump his chest or fight about that. Like, I think he just...
And I really like...
And I like that for him because they did make it easy to dislike him for some things. And again, I feel like some of that's, you know, what the serum does is one thing. You know, it amplifies who you are. So they talked about that and they pointed that out. But then it also is hard on you to take, you know, when you've taken it, because Carly talked about the kind of side effects of that lasting for a while. So he had just taken that when he killed that dude. And so that doesn't excuse necessarily the bad optics of that moment, but it does, you know, like, I don't think that's who he is on any regular given day. Like, I'm just going to go kill this guy in the middle of the street.
No, and I like that he put that was Lamar's star.
Yeah.
On the inside of his mage shield so that he can remember, you know, to not go over that edge again.
Right.
So that was nice.
He needed that
that grounding.
Grounding, yeah. And I like that he had the chance to follow Carly and fight her, or to try to save the people in that bus or van or whatever, but he made the right call there. And so I like that they did a little bit of redeeming work on him. I like that, you know, the camaraderie between Bucky and Sam continued this episode, and grew. I like seeing Bucky hanging out with his family and all the kids hanging off his arm. And,
so much fun.
And play fighting with the kids while he's trying to carry the cake and all that stuff. Like, that stuff's real life friend stuff.
Yeah.
Like, and so I really like that. And you know, there will be people, because I know the internet, there will be people that take that speech of Sam's at the end and they'll pick it apart and find all the worst things about it and not see all the good in it. And I get it that that's just how the internet works, but I didn't see that as too... I mean, there were some things that I kind of disagree with just from a logistical standpoint, that we can't just go, oh, okay, well, we've got all this food in a building, so I guess we'll just open the floodgates and let it out, in spite of the fact that this government is trying to block us and this government's trying to do this and this... whatever, like one group can't fix everything. Yeah. It has to be everybody working together. So logistically, some of what he was saying doesn't work, but the spirit behind it does work. And I thought everything that he said came from a good place.
I think the bottom line, the main point of that entire speech was, we can all do better. And
sure.
And that was
we should.
And we should.
If we can do better, we should do better.
Yeah. So, and that's...
To me, the most meaningful moment of that speech was him saying, like, you guys have more power than what you realize you do, and you were still made to feel helpless. So use that as your lens. Use that helplessness to see that not everybody has the kind of power to turn things around on a dime like you were able to. You got saved, and now you're back to all your power. Right? So maybe employ some of that in a useful fashion to help people that don't have that ability.
Yeah. And understand why this group was fighting you so hard.
Sure.
Understand that.
Sure. You don't have to agree with them, but understand why.
Or their reasoning, or their you know, their tactics. None of those, those are all bad.
Yeah.
All bad.
And I get what Sam was saying about throwing the word terrorist around, but it pretty well applies to the Flag Smashers. I'm going to disagree with him on that one. But I get the point. And the point is kind of what we tell our kids all the time. If you have an opportunity to be kind, if you have an opportunity to sow compassion instead of discord, do it.
Yeah.
Just use that opportunity. We all are given options every day in the way that we interact with other people and in the way that we make choices about our own lives that affect other people's lives. If you've got a chance to be kind, if you've got a chance to sow compassion, do it. Yeah. It doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah.
And not everybody appreciates it, and it doesn't mean that everything's going to go your way, and it doesn't mean that you're not going to make a misstep once in a while. But I'd rather err on the side of trying to do right by other people than to err on the side of trying to be selfish and being a jerk about something. So now, I get it wrong all the time. You can ask her. She'll tell you. I get things wrong all the time. She does. Kids do. Everybody does. You do. I'm not trying to offend you, but you do. It's just how life works. We're all messy, messy people. But I think what Sam was saying was, let's all try to be our best selves and put our best foot forward and help those that we have the power to help. Some people have more power to help than others, but we should all do what we can.
Yeah.
And so I know that there are a bunch of people that are going to pick that apart and be like, oh, it's all woke, it's all political, it's all this, it's all that. I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was over the top. I didn't think it was beating anybody over the head with anything. I don't think it was said in any way that somebody couldn't disagree with it. I think it just was said to make you think about something. And I think that's fine. That's television and movies, books. They should make us think.
Yeah.
We don't always have to agree, but they should make us think. Anyway, yeah, I liked it. I thought there's plenty of action. The shots of Sam flying, after the helicopter, all this was filmed so well.
Yeah.
Like I was super impressed that first episode.
Yeah, but I was like, they really bookended it with another great flight sequence.
And granted, this one was at night, so it was a little easier to cover up stuff. But they were also working with a new costume that they're having to get just right on camera. They're dealing with him throwing the shield while he's. I mean, there was a lot of new elements to that fight that I thought they filmed really, really well.
Yeah, that was really well done. And kudos, of course, to the stunt team because they had a lot of so much work to do in this episode especially. So you guys did a great job there. I follow some of them on Instagram, and I saw the stunt cast pictures afterwards. I was like, I should have realized that there was a stunt cast this large for this show, and so they did a spectacular job with everything that they did.
And from effects to craft services, it takes a lot of people to make these shows happen.
Yep.
And that's why when we go to movies, back when that was a thing, remember when you went to movie theaters and saw movies?
But then again, movie theaters were kind of gross even before COVID, so it's like,
well, hopefully that kind of thing is changing, but. I was going to say, we would always kind of sit during the credits anyway, because to me, it's always felt a little bit disrespectful to just get up and walk away when the credits are kind of honoring all the people that worked on the movie. Yeah, it doesn't hurt that sometimes they throw in extra credit scenes, but, I always find it interesting to see how many production babies there are.
Oh, I know. I love seeing production babies.
And those kinds of things. Like a lot of people put a lot of time and effort into this stuff and give up portions of their lives to make these shows happen because they have a passion for telling stories. And so, it's really kudos to everybody that worked on this production, from writing to, cinematography to whatever. It felt like a movie.
Yeah.
Just spread out over 6 hours, and we got a little more in-depth, storytelling because of it.
Yeah.
So
excellent.
I still am not sure, like we said kind of before this started, like apples and oranges, which one I like better, WandaVision or the Falcon.
I like them both
Soldier.
for different reasons, and there's no way I'm going to make a comparison to.
Well, and that's the
other.
thing. You could do this. You could have done this story in a movie, but you wouldn't have had the character depth. You would have had to cut out the Dora Milaje. You would have had to cut out Isaiah Bradley. You would have had to cut out anything that wasn't in service of getting the story told, right?
Yeah,
if you were to make this a movie.
If you even tried to make it 2.5 to 2 3/4, it was not going to make it.
And WandaVision was predicated on the notion of television, so it would not have worked in a theater either, because it needed to be grounded in television, because that was kind of one of the main functions of that show. So I think Disney Plus is nailing it out of the park so far with these Marvel shows, and makes me really excited to see Loki.
Yeah.
When that comes, that's June.
June 11th, I believe, is the first episode. So we will be back for that for sure. Just a couple notes. I was watching this, and Carly kind of struck me a little bit in this. I didn't get the point. I guess maybe I need to watch it again. I didn't get the point of her calling Bucky. As maybe just,
I think she was just distracting him so that her people that were hidden in the ranks could get them out of there.
So I was like, this is.
She knew that he'd try to talk her down.
Yeah, it was like, this is a stupid This is a stupid conversation. It's not going to go anywhere he wants it to go. So there's no point in it. So
he's a good guy, so he tried.
He tried. When she saw Sam, it was. I was immediately struck by her acting like a 3-year-old who had the cake taken away. You, of all people, that right there,
right.
her whole demeanor was like, I can't believe you stopped me from doing this thing that was supposed to be such a big deal.
And I think that's a realistic thing. I think people think if you share a certain life experience or a certain, whatever, you share some sort of common ground that therefore you're going to think the same, or you're going to want the same thing out of life, or out of America, or out of the world, or out of whatever.
Yeah, so that was.
It's a common mistake, and I think it makes sense for her character because she was kind of bratty the whole time.
Yeah,
a lot of tantruming, just in a hugely violent way.
Yeah, so that, and then finally at the end when she was trying to get him to fight her, was very reminiscent. So if you guys know, we were big Buffy fans back in the day, and we still are, very reminiscent of the Faith the Vampire Slayer fighting Angel and trying to get herself killed, basically, getting him to fight her so that she could just die.
Except that I think that was because Faith knew that she was wrong.
Yeah. Well,
I don't think Carly knew that she was wrong.
I don't think so either, but I think she was in that desperation mode. Like, if you cannot possibly be my friend, you have to fight me.
Right.
So I think that's where she was with that. So,
or she may have just not wanted to go to jail. She might have preferred death to jail or something.
Possibly. So,
and if so, she got her wish because Sharon took care of that.
Yes, she did. So it was but great acting from that actress. Mm-hmm. It was, she was believable all the way through. There wasn't anything where I thought she was phoning anything in. So that was good. Good job there.
I think I just have the problem with in the modern context, anybody who wants to tantrum on a super violent level because things aren't the world doesn't work the way they want them to work, they call themselves a revolutionary. It's a very modern thing. Oh, I'm a revolutionary. No, you're just a brat throwing a tantrum, and you're going to get taken care of because the world doesn't work the way you want it to work.
Yeah.
There are ways to infiltrate spaces and change things positively from inside. There are ways to utilize the power that you have in a way that doesn't kill other people to make the world a better place. And so once you resort to killing people to be heard, I'm off your bandwagon. Sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought she was, granted they had to change some things, as we said. But given what they had to work with, I don't think she's a villain. I'm kind of glad they killed her off. She's not somebody I would have wanted to see come back.
Yeah.
And kind of when they... when the guy put them in the thing and said that to them, I thought, oh, maybe they're going to come back as some, probably not as a main villain, but maybe they'll be like you in an opening scene of something, somebody's having to deal with the leftover flag smashers or whatever. And then, nope, Zemo took care of that in a very Zemo way.
Yes.
It's interesting to me that he has so much... Reach. Yeah, from inside the raft.
I'm pretty sure, this butler has been with him for as long as he's been alive, so he probably knew if there was a chance to take them out to go ahead and do it. So
yeah, interesting stuff.
Yeah.
I would love to see more Zemo in something. Like, this show made Zemo a character worth wanting to see come back.
Yeah.
I felt like after Civil War, I was kind of like,
Yeah.
If we never see him again, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I like him being a wild card character, kind of in the gray, not necessarily knowing exactly where he's going to land.
Right. Now, don't get me wrong, he should be in jail because he killed a bunch of people in Civil War.
Yep.
But yeah, I think, like all good villains, he doesn't see himself as a villain. He sees himself as the hero in his story. And so he doesn't really consider the villainous things he does to be that villainous. Mm-hmm. But I don't think, Sam and Bucky were willing to do what they needed to do to stop Carly, and that included utilizing Zemo. But I don't think they would have been okay. Like, if he had broken out of the raft and shown up in that last fight like John Walker did, I don't think they would have been happy to see him or been okay with him tagging along.
No.
I think that would have been a different story.
Yeah, totally different. But he's in the raft as long as he wants to be in the raft. I feel like if he wants to get out, he'd figure out a way out. So he's just doing his time.
I like the little jokey moment between Walker and Bucky. Lincoln, really? It's a great quote. Not coming from you.
No.
Still a little bit of antagonism there, but
that's okay. I mean,
but no complaints about him being there to help.
No, I mean he is super strong. You needed another one of them.
And those people would have gone over the edge before Falcon could get there or Cap could get there if he hadn't been there. So it helped. He may not be everybody's idea of a hero, but he did help. It'll be interesting to see if he comes back, how he comes back, and in what capacity. Yeah. I've been hearing a lot of rumors about a possible Thunderbolts project. Have you heard anything about that?
Nope.
Okay. The Thunderbolts in the comics was a team.
See the question marks just flying over my head. Yes. I've heard of them, but that's kind of it.
This is the thing where you put the little transparent thing of all the numbers and the diagrams and the stuff floating past your head.
Or you play the Jeopardy theme song.
Right. In the comics, the Thunderbolts were a team of supposed heroes that showed up when the Avengers were missing, and they were the new Avengers, basically, for all intents and purposes. The government got behind them. The UN got behind them. Everybody got behind them because, man, their Thunderbolts are great. They're helping the world out since the Avengers disappeared.
Yeah, we need a team.
Only to find out that Citizen V, who is the leader of the Thunderbolts, was actually Zemo. And all of the new heroes were actually villains that were pretending to be heroes so that they could get in with the government and with everything else. So, the second incarnation, or not second, but several incarnations later of the Thunderbolts, they were run by Thunderbolt Ross, who we've met in here, who is in charge of the Raft prison, where Zemo is now a prisoner. So there have been people that speculated that perhaps Zemo and Thunderbolt Ross and, there might be some other villains that end up in the Raft that become the Thunderbolts. And if they don't make them like full villains trying to pull something, it could be that they utilize them as something like the Suicide Squad.
I was going to say, that's like such Suicide Squad vibes right there.
Yeah, like you guys, have X number of years. We'll take some off if you do some missions for the government. And they're pretty bloody and pretty awful. And
we wouldn't send our A-team there.
Like one version of the Thunderbolts was Thunderbolt Ross, who at that point was the Red Hulk. It was Frank Castle, the Punisher. Aww. It was Elektra. Okay. It was Deadpool. And it was Venom.
Oh, wow. What a team.
Yeah.
That's, wow.
So, if Zemo comes back, I'd love to see them play with that. Like, he's kind of wants to be a hero, but he does terrible things in the name of trying to do things right. And I'd like to see them play with that gray area a little bit.
Yeah. Because the thing is, right or wrong, he has his own code. He's not going to. He's definitely never going to waver from it. So it'll just be interesting to see who he lines up with.
How many villainous characters, on seeing the super soldier serum on the ground, would have just taken some for themselves?
Oh, for sure.
And he just went merrily smashing them.
Smash, smash, smash.
Yeah, he was kind of giddy about the whole thing.
He kind of, yeah. He needed better eyesight to catch that last one.
But I really like that last shot of him that we got in this episode, where he just kind of looks at us, kind of looks at the camera. And a little grin, and then lays back like, my work's done. I'm good. Mm-hmm. Good stuff.
Sleep easy now.
I did hear, and I don't know if you had heard or not, but I did hear that since they dropped this yesterday, that they have announced that they're planning another Captain America movie.
Oh.
That will feature Anthony Mackie as Captain America.
Oh, I love that.
And a lot of the people involved in this show are going to be involved in that film.
I love that so much. I can't wait to see it. So who knows what part of the Marvel phase that's going to be.
Right. I don't think they have a plan as far as where it's going to fall yet. I think Phase 4 is pretty full, so it may be a while. But they also said that they left things so that they could come back and do some more stuff in like a second season, whereas WandaVision was meant to be
one season,
a standalone.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see a feature-length film, but if they want to bring him back and have another limited series, that would be fantastic.
Especially if it's something that needs a little bit more character engagement, a little bit more room to breathe. Yeah. I love Marvel movies. I've enjoyed them all. To varying extents. I mean, even stuff like Thor: The Dark World that has a bad rap, I enjoy watching that. So I enjoy them all, but I think sometimes there are some stories that require a little bit more breathing room to flesh out the characters or flesh out the motivation of the villain or that kind of thing. And so I feel like this 6-episode thing felt good. The pacing was good.
Yeah, there was nothing that was dead weight, but everything fit together really well. It was very tight writing for six episodes, so it was great.
And, in the course of 6 episodes, not only do we get the building of a more solid friendship between Sam and Bucky, we also got Sam taking the mantle. We got more from Zemo that made him a better character to watch and keep an eye on. We got a turn for Sharon Carter.
Woohoo! Interesting.
We got Isaiah Bradley story that could be built on a little bit, especially with his grandson Eli being involved. He is a Young Avengers character in the comics, but also we got, a new character introduced in John Walker. We got Contessa, Val introduced. So stories and introductions that could spiral off into their own stories and into other things. So they did a lot in 6 episodes when you really think about it.
Really, really well done.
So, I'm definitely excited to see a 4th Captain America movie, and whenever that comes, and excited to see what else they want to do with this character now that he's taken up the mantle. And, I'm excited.
I am too.
And I'm happy with this, and I'm kind of glad that we're getting, this came so quick after WandaVision. I'm glad that we get a little bit of a breather before Loki drops. Especially given that, the rest of this year, there's a lot of Marvel stuff dropping, movie-wise.
Movie-wise, yeah.
We've still got the Eternals, we've still got Shang-Chi, we've still got Black Widow, we've still got Spider-Man.
Oh, my gosh. Those are all coming out this year?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy year.
It's going to, before we know it, we're going to be with Doctor Strange into the...
into the multiverse.
I was going to say, into the Spider-Verse.
No.
No.
It feels that way because Sam Raimi's involved.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, so I mean that's supposed to be early 2022, and that's really less than a year away.
Yep.
So there's so much coming out. We are so excited to watch all of these coming, and someday return to the theaters and give you our reviews. But we can certainly give you our reviews from here if we have to catch it on Disney Plus. So whatever works.
We are excited for you to be on board and watching these things with us. We love having you engaged in conversation in the comment section down below. We always appreciate that. You guys are always kind to us, and we value that a lot.
We do.
We're going to wrap things up, though, because we have 2 children of our own that are anxious to watch this and couldn't watch it until we were done. So we're going to let them off the hook and let them come watch the show, and we'll let you go. If you want to see the unedited version of this reaction, you can find that at Patreon. That link is in the description. We thank you for being here. If you like content like this, be sure and hit the thumbs up. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. And other than that, we'll just see you next time.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.